Shalom to the club members, and thank you for watching the update. I hope you're going to stay with me until the end. I'm going to try to give as much as information as I can about where we are in Israel, what's going on with the hostages, with Gaza, with Lebanon, with Syria, and with us personally here in Israel. I'm recording this update on March the 6th. It's basically the beginning of the weekend now in Israel, tomorrow Friday, and we're getting into another amazing weekend. And please stay tuned and join the WhatsApp group so you can get more shorter videos of updates about our life and about some sites and what's going on in Israel in terms of life, because there's a lot going on. It's we're back to life in a way. Next week is Purim, which is one of the best holidays in Israel. It's fun and funny and a lot of party and a great story of Esther and Mordechai, and great story for the Jewish people. I want to begin with a basically maybe the most sad story from after October 7th is the hostages story. We are now with Gaza left with 59 hostages. In the beginning, from October 7th, 23, we had 251 hostages. In the last deal that was signed by Israel and Hamas with the mediators, we basically brought back 33 more hostages. 25 of them were alive, and unfortunately, the others were brought as dead bodies, including the Bibas family, Shiri, and the kids, Ariel and Kfir, and a few more that were just in the past week were buried in a very sad funerals in Kibbutz Nir Oz and other places. The story of the hostages is tearing our hearts, obviously, and I know many of you are praying for the hostages and are very looking for all the updates. We still have 59 of them in Gaza. As far as the secret services and army and everyone, we know that 35 of them are unfortunately dead, either kidnapped as dead or were killed in captivity, which leaves 24 of them that's still alive, and we know some people that are alive that used to be with the hostages that just came back in the last deal. The deal, by the way, started on January 15th, before Trump came to the office, with a lot of pressure from Trump administration. And last night, actually, we had some of the released hostages coming to Trump's office and literally thanking him. One of them even told him that his parents and himself believes that God sent him to release them. So it's a very meaningful situation here in Israel, especially with the main debate: how can we release everyone? And it's a very complicated situation. Let's talk about it for a second. Hamas, this is his key for life, the hostages. Without the hostages, obviously, there was much more brutal action in Gaza towards the leaders of Hamas, towards areas that the army suspected they holding the hostages, so the army didn't touch it. Basically, this is the human shields that Hamas leaders and Hamas generally using to stay in power. They want to stay in power, but there's a lot of pressure on them from different sides, either from Qatar, Egypt, the Arab world, Trump's administration, and Israel, to bring and release the hostages. They won't do it, apparently, without getting a lot of security. First of all, prisoners. Who are these prisoners? For years, Israel has been arresting terrorists. Either I've done it in my army service, either terrorists that were planning with the bomb under their bed to go and explode in a bus in Israel, or terrorists that actually executed a terror attack and stayed alive and are kept in prison in Israel. Many of them were with blood on their hands, and unfortunately Israel had to release them to get our hostages back. And according to the second phase of the deal, there's supposed to be people, big shots as we call, archi-terrorists that are going to be released. And Hamas needs, or what they want basically, is a secure of Israel's stopping the war. They want to stay in power, or kind of find a way that they won't be in power or someone else will be in power, but they will still have the weapons, so they will be in power. And Israel, obviously, one of the main goals of the war is that Hamas will not stay in power in Gaza, and this is why Israel cannot um, agree to that. This is why Israel stopped basically the phase two, and we're trying to get more pressure. Last night, Trump said Shalom Hamas, if you followed what he said, and he did say that he gave a lot of things to Israel, if it's weapon, and I believe other things as well, including I don't know what you can give more, but also the less pressure on Israel to use more brutality of convincing Hamas to give back the hostages and surrender and leave Gaza. That's a very complicated situation. Also, Israel right now is controlling about in between 700 meters to a kilometer inside Gaza, all around Gaza, and the border with Egypt has some posts that the Israeli army is controlling there to secure the fact that they are not smuggling again weapon and bring back the ability of shooting rockets. Pay attention to that, how all of this weapon came from Egypt, which Egypt, we have peace treaty and they're considered to be allies of America and our allies. It's super, super interesting to see and sad to see how Egypt let it happen because of interior Egyptian issues and maybe because of hatred of Israel as well. What's going to happen next and what do I believe? I mean, obviously, I don't know. None of us is there in the rooms with all the decision makers, either not in America, Qatar, Egypt, Gaza, or Jerusalem here. I'm not far away, but I don't know what will happen. But I can assume, and I'm guessing. I'm guessing that there's strong pressure that will bring to release at least some of the hostages, if not more of them, bigger number, that eventually it depends on the Arab countries. If they will put pressure on Hamas, they can lead to Hamas leaders leaving Gaza, releasing all the hostages, and then Israel kind of like giving up on destroying them. But they are staying alive, and they will get safe zone in Qatar, which is the only safe place for them because everyone wants to be friends with Qatar. So Israel will not kill them in Qatar. Pay attention, most of their leaders are there, and they're secured. Israel is not touching them over there. That's super interesting what's going on with Qatar today. If you want, we can get into details privately. Ask me. In Lebanon, or in the northern part, or sorry, I will go back for a moment to Gaza. Basically, there's no war. Israel did shoot, or the Israeli army did shoot some people that got closer to the Israeli forces on the ground, terrorists that were trying to smuggle weapons from the southern part of Gaza to the northern part of Gaza. They're supposed to go through checkpoints. That there's an American private company over there, together with Egyptian forces. I'm not really sure it's Egyptian, but probably Palestinians who are getting paid by Egypt or something like that. Obviously, they're smuggling stuff over there. They're not supposed to move weapons from the southern part to Gaza City, which is in the northern part of the Strip. Lebanon, in the northern part of Israel, is going back to life. I've been there many times. I did send some videos, and I'm going to upload more and more. It's beautiful. It's the right time to visit, and I am adding actually on my YouTube channel, and you can watch it. It's going to go on the Facebook group and the WhatsApp. A great interview with Eyal Dror. We did it back in January, but it's still telling the story of what happened during the war and what's going on in Syria. Eyal has a lot of information. He was the commander of the Good Neighbor operation project that Israel, between 2016 to 2018, Israel helped to thousands of Syrians to get aid, either medical aid in Israel or other things that created a lot of connections to him in Syria, which helped a lot to the Israeli army after the collapse of Assad regime. Let's put it in the right timeline for a moment. So the Lebanon agreement is the November 27th ceasefire, And since then, they were trying to do, Hezbollah was trying to do different moves of weapon, and the Israeli army showed them big no. No for money coming from Iran to land in Lebanon. No for moving rockets. Whoever is going to move rockets going to be bombed. And Israel did use drones and airplanes bombing Hezbollah terrorists trying to bring weapon closer to the border or moving weapon here and there. And Hezbollah kept it silent and not reacted because they are in a very bad condition. The war in Lebanon brought a lot of, I think, good things to Lebanon. Hezbollah is weakened. There's a new president. They have a new government, and I hope the Sunnis and the Christians and the Druze in Lebanon will take power. And actually, the Lebanese army actually took some of the posts that the Israeli army, when we went in, we withdrew except 5 points in Lebanon that still Israel has forces over there that are controlling a lot of area, very high points, kind of Israeli posts that Israel says until Hezbollah will withdraw from behind or west and north of the Litani. So the IDF will stay there to make sure that Hezbollah is not piling up more weapon like they had on the border. The army and the government telling to the people to go back to their houses. Some communities are destroyed from anti-tank rockets, Kibbutz Manara and Metula. But basically, the north is coming back to life. A lot of Israeli visitors and some tourists are coming. It's beautiful. It's just the best place to be. I don't know if you know, but I was born in the very tip of the north of Israel. I've suffered from Hezbollah rockets since I was a kid. And thank God we don't have any more Nasrallah that sent rockets on me since I was a kid. He, by the way, was buried a week ago. During his funeral, 4 Israeli jets were flying above, telling them who's in charge in Lebanon right now, making sure that Hezbollah will not, or showing them that we could get rid of all these Hezbollah terrorists that were there. Don't forget that right after the agreement in Lebanon happened, Assad regime in Syria fell to this interesting jihadist group that started as an offshoot of Al Qaeda, supported by the Turks, that washed Syria with big news. And this thing that happens in the beginning of December was escorted by a crazy military Israeli operation that Israel aerial operation bombard all the big weapon of the Assad regime, of the Assad army, rockets, airplanes, basically to destroy the ability of any army or any force northeast of us to bring strategical aim or strategical situation to Israel. We have a lot of these jihadists that are now in power in Syria, and the question is how they will behave. They're trying to avoid reacting to Israel too much. Israel went in with the Israeli army to ensure that things like October 7th will not even, try they won't even try. We have about 6-7 miles into Syria that Israel controlling. It's called the demilitarized zone. Lately, actually, 2 days ago, you could hear in the news that Israel trying to. Prime Minister said that we're going to be kind of responsible for the Druze in Syria. Don't forget, we have these 4 Druze towns in the Golan that became Israelis, and these are their brothers and sisters. And Israel has good alliance with the Druze, and now the Kurds in the northern part of Syria wants to be under the Israeli umbrella. So that's very interesting what's going on in Syria, and if you have more questions, there's a lot to share over here, and you're more than welcome. I will take maybe a little commercial break and tell you that this is the right time to come to see all of that here in Israel. I'm going to organize your tour and help you to meet the right people to get all the information. If you have the budget to meet the high rank people, or if you don't have the budget, will be just at this place and you'll get everything from me. And there are some brave people. You don't really need to be brave. Some people that just already bought their tickets, and I had last week an amazing client. We had a few days all around Israel, and next week we have a Jewish couple that is coming to volunteer, and they're taking me privately. And we do need you to come back because we miss our work. We need budget-wise, we need to work, and I hope it's going to come back. I'm still available most May, June, July, and August. And hopefully from September, the bus tours will come back. We're still working on it. I wanted to share with you a little bit um, about the club. I'm going to post more shorter videos with updates in the soon almost every other day to give. And if you haven't joined the Facebook group and the WhatsApp group, you must do it. The WhatsApp group, there will be a link either in the email or here below. I want to keep it only for friends, so only in the email or in the Facebook group, Yoav's Real Israel Club, and I approve you, and you're getting direct videos from me and interesting things about Israel. I I do want to say something before we finish, something personal. Um, if you still interested in visiting Israel, we had this crazy offer during December and January for paying and getting double when you come back. Talk to me. If you, I need the money now, and maybe you will need it for your future tour. So use it, and it's going to be good for both of us. Um, if you want to visit Israel and you just wonder how you do that, talk to me as well. I'm available and not too much work. So definitely we'll talk to you, we'll write to you via email. WhatsApp is always the best because we can talk and call and even video call. Ask the people that do that, they're enjoying it and they're getting a lot of information. I hope to see you here in Israel. I will send you more updates soon. I believe that in the next week or 2 weeks, we'll have good news here from Israel about the hostages and maybe about bigger strategical movements. Stay tuned and see you in the next update.